The solution to the double slit is you're looking at it wrong. When I found the double slit 2.5 years ago, I'd never heard of that, presented by Professor Jim Al-Khalili. I was screaming at the television, you're looking at it wrong, you're lying, you know the answer. April 21. Here we are, November 23. What's the solution to the double slit experiment? You're looking at it wrong, and they're lying. Yeah, truly. Now, I come up with a theory. It's not mine. It's mine, but it's come from I was given it. The Earth is the center of reality, and that we see the solar system and the galaxy. We observe it in the same way that we observe the double slit experiment. And so we see round objects rotating around the sun in an infinite galaxy that's expanding and accelerating. That's what we see. So they come up with this Big Bang theory, and then they try to come up with ideas to how can you have a space that is eternally accelerating? How can that be supported? So they come up with ideas to justify that, which to me make no sense at all. But they match the observations, and so we accept them that they're true. If you can take the idea that the Earth is the center of reality for a moment, and that the observations that we make in nature, in the cosmos and in the solar system we're just looking at it wrong, and come back to this idea that the speed of the planet controls gravity, and the entire balance of nature is the speed of the planet. It means that when these magnetic pole switches occur, which is proven that they do occur, what happens is that it just resets the planet and the planet speeds up. When the planet speeds up, the planet doesn't move. The rest of the universe rotates around us faster. So the mass that's actually changed from our rotation speed is enormous. And so that even tiny changes in momentum down here on the planet are huge in terms of the effect of gravity. Because if you take that idea that might be true and use it to answer every single weird mystery that science currently has, every single one, in history, building of pyramids, moving of stone structures, evolution's fast, it happens during these moments in jump starts. Okay, not gradual, not survival of the fittest. No, species are created and they exist. Think about it, please. Just think about this idea that a shift in gravity, low gravity, high electric atmosphere, can be as a solution to every single weird mystery. And you go, okay, well, this is working down here, it's not matching with what I'm seeing in the cosmos. How can that be right? It's very simple. You're looking at it wrong, and they're lying. In 5 dimensions, we are 5 dimensions because we have Leve to see the subatomic structure repeating itself, the motion at the center of the 0 point, as described by Leve, is the action that's going to keep us, that means it gets adjusted. So that, let me explain. So you're dealing with an atom. The time particle is the one place where meters are pushed into seconds, and it creates this a sphere, and inside it there's a surface, and there's this imbalance in the motion, the time particle. That time particle is replicated through every single atom. The energy of every single atom is that time particle, which is why smashing them in CERN is so awful. But the adjustments here in this tiny subatomic solar little system mean that affects the universe. Mark's principle in Newton's bucket. Yeah, there's observations in nature for you. The center of the cosmos and the center of the bucket are the same place, referencing the momentum of the water. You can then bring yourself, well, okay, then I can see how a tiny adjustment here would make a difference universally. And therefore, then you can see how does behavior of human beings affect gravity because we are made of these time particles. Every atom we have is made of this time particle. It's water. Time particle is a bubble of water with a surface of water in it with a standing wave. And that's us. If you control that technologically, right, so this is how the lie works, you can control it by applying extra pressure at the poles, top and bottom. Now, it won't move. Can't. 2 pi is the diameter, north to south, of the 0 point of the torus. Okay? So you've got a torus. At that very center, where the center of the torus, the center of the donut is, there's a point. And that's Levy's motion. That's subatomic gravity. That field is our existence, our consciousness. That's how we experience of life. And then the round that it creates is the matter. Now, so that if you compress that, if you put extra density at the top of that, it won't move. It will just push harder at the equator out. So that the diameter of the equator then is measured as h. And it should be 2 pi, but it's not, it's bigger. That's how you can control the lie, because it's us. You're controlling us psychologically. And then you use all the crude stuff, the algorithms and that, to just keep pumping it in to drive you mad. It's working well. So that's why the lie works, that you can pretend that you landed on the moon, and you can pretend all these people did, and they'll all keep secrets, and then they just forget. They forget that they were actually lying. That they did all this mission. They knew, lots of people knew that they weren't going anywhere near the moon. They were doing other things, okay? But that they forget that that's what they were doing. So some people are keeping a secret, some people have forgotten. It's just confused. So that's the lie. And we're looking at it wrong because it's 5 dimensions now. So that you have to see it from, place yourself in the center of the subatomic particle. Now you can move into the center of the planet if you like. Right there's the time particle. That's the time particle where it lives. Place yourself there and now look out. And what you see is infinite layers. Through the mantle of the earth to start with, you see all these infinite layers of perlite in motion. Then you get to the zone where the heat is no longer sufficient to maintain motion, so it stops moving. When it stops moving, it turns into matter, in terms of matter, stationary matter, rock and that kind of stuff. And then as the layers come out, the field is still moving equally as powerfully, but the matter is slowing at each layer. So that the best way to see it is just infinite spheres from inside. Everything we see is inside out. Our brain turns it into spheres to make it make sense, because that's what the brain is trying to do. Your soul has to look at the brain and say, no, stop tricking me. I'm seeing it inside out. I'm seeing layers around me. And that the final layer is the sun. So it's that huge ball. It's not solid. It's just a skin. It's a surface. We exist inside it. And then it arranges itself on the equator. It describes the circumference of the subatomic particle at the distance at which that heat then exists, because it exists at the center. The sun and the moon are 2 layers at the initial center. It's the 0 point and the infinite point where they meet each other, the entropic boundary where life is created. So there is a way of describing a model through theoretical engineering that explains the observations in nature that we currently have. And that makes sense. And now it answers the questions about the pyramids and all the weird mysteries that science says it's got. This is why this is the moment. Because you have to choose that might be true. You have to choose. I'm going to choose to trust science, or I'm going to choose to trust my own intellect, and I'm going to do a bit of research. I know it's true. I know that you can build a model of theoretical engineering that explains everything, and that I can explain the theory based on Levy, which is 1915. A document by a double doctor, physics and engineering, placed a document in 1915 into engineering, and it still sits there with the PCA tables. The Portland Cement Association, Illinois, issued a book, 42, 65, 93, still existing, There's Leve, 1915. Nobody's ever heard of him. You've heard of Einstein, yeah? And E equals MC squared. Lie. Einstein knew it. Sold his soul for fame and regretted it the rest of his life. But what could he do? He couldn't go back. Tesla, no chance. He's on the outside because they know he's going to call them out. That lie has found. The lie has found. Tesla, if they'd listened to Tesla and allowed a world of sharing instead of a world of secrets, what a world we'd have. We would have been living in. I'd have been brought up in 60 years of joy rather than awfulness. A lot of it I created. So, there you go. Just take the idea. You're looking at it wrong, they're lying, except that might be true, and look at some information. Good luck. All this can really help you now. It's fast. You need to be ready to meet this mass death. It's coming anyway. The reason they won't tell you is because they know it's coming, and they can't do a thing about it. Nothing. They can have their ice cube facility in the Antarctic that's holding this magnetic pole switch from happening corruptly using our energy of slavery. The more we suffer, the more neutrinos get created that we don't get. They go to the ice cube facility, and that's holding the magnetic pole switch stationary. It's going to fail any moment. And it will fail when we stop giving our energy to it. Stop listening to this shit. Stop looking at it. Stop paying attention to it. It's fucking made up. It's as made up as E equals MC squared. Yeah, we create the physics, the mathematics. We do. To explain the world that we see. We just have to make sure that we're seeing clearly. And I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Welcome to New Earth. Think on.